Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. One of the prayers, very moving prayers that we say throughout the high holidays when the Ark is open, is Al Tashlichenu Le'ezikna. Almighty God, don't cast me away in my old age. Kichlos Kochenu. When our strength wanes and weakens, Al Ta'azvenu. Do not forsake us. However, the Baal Shem Tov offered a deeper explanation to this prayer. It's not just talking about physical old age, but it's talking about a mindset of old age. You see, sometimes when a person becomes older, they have what is called a fixed mindset. They're like, this is who I am, I'm already this and this age, I'm not going to change at this point. A young person is always filled with dreams and aspirations and visions and hopes for the future. But once we get older, we start becoming set in our ways and accepting our status quo. And therefore, says the Baal Shem Tov, what King David is saying is, God, don't cast me away in my old age. Don't allow me to develop a mindset of old age. But rather let my vigor, let my strength always be renewed with the zeal and enthusiasm and the passion of youthfulness. They say that in the city of Kotsk there were no old people. If somebody was 75 years old, they said, I have 3 25-year-olds inside of me. They were more youthful because they had multiple young people inside of them. And this is the greatest prayer for the high holidays. God, as long as I'm alive, as long as I have breath in my soul and my nostrils, let me keep on being a dreamer and a builder and a doer, filled with hope and promise for the future. If there was ever a year that this prayer takes on special importance, it's this year. We have seen a year long of extraordinary passion, devotion, dedication of our young, brave soldiers, the Chayalim and Chayalot, who are as young as 19, 20, 21, 22, but even older. Some of them reservists in their 20s and 30s. And we've seen how they've shown no fatigue, no tiredness, but rather constantly sacrificing and dedicating themselves for the future of the Jewish people in Israel. And therefore this has to awaken inside of all of us, each and every one of us, that youthfulness, that zeal, that determination, that love, that passion to protect, to defend the Jewish people, and not just physically, but spiritually, to make sure that we are more committed and more dedicated to our Jewish values and ideals, to never become stagnant and static in our growth. One of the beautiful young men who grew up in our community, his name is Matthew Foyer. He actually came back in February to our annual gala, surprised his mother, and came out after we showed a video of his story, how he was a child, grew up in our community, attended our synagogue, and then he went through our Maimonides leadership program, Jewish education, and ultimately went to study in yeshiva in Israel, joined the IDF, met his wife, started a family, and has 2 children. And he's been in reserve duty all year. And we had him fly in and surprise his mother, and everyone who was at the gala remembers when we called him out from behind the stage, and his mother in tears and his father embraced him. They hadn't seen him in months. And he sent me a video yesterday, which was so inspiring. He was sent into Lebanon last week with the Golani brigade that he belongs to. On Rosh Hashanah, he was fighting terrorists in Lebanon. And then, in the beginning of this week, they let him come out of Lebanon and go home and spend a few days with his wife and children. But today, he's going back to the northern border, and he's going back into Lebanon to continue the war against the Hezbollah terrorists. His father, Cantor David Foyer, is a famous cantor here in this community, is spending the high holidays with his son and daughter-in-law and grandchildren. And he said to his father, Abba, I am going to be in Lebanon defending Israel on Yom Kippur. I will not be able to be in a synagogue to hear the Kol Nidre prayer. Since you're such a great cantor, the greatest cantor, my greatest cantor, can you sing Kol Nidre for me before I go back to the front lines? And in this beautiful video, his father takes out the machzor as Matthew sits before his father, and father begins to chant so movingly the Kol Nidre prayer on Wednesday night in preparation for Yom Kippur. When I think of Matthew and tens of thousands of soldiers, as we say in the prayer, Bayabasha in dry land, Ba'avir in the air, Bayama or at the sea, who are standing guard, fighting, defending, protecting, whether in Gaza or in Lebanon or in the Air Force, at the army bases, protecting, defending. While we are in the synagogue praying, it behooves all of us to tap in to their courage, their strength, their determination, their vision for a brighter future for Israel and the Jewish people, and join them and never be cast away to old age, not in body, not in mind, not in heart, and not in soul. Forever young. Have a wonderful day.